First at 10, Commitment 2020. President Trump spoke to a packed crowd tonight at Smith Reynolds Airport in Winston-Salem.
It is estimated that thousands of people were there. We're still working to get the exact figure. During his campaign speech, the president, among other things, called on Governor Roy Cooper to reopen North Carolina. Fresh off an afternoon rally in Florida, another key swing state, President Trump arrived at Smith Reynolds Airport and started his 7 p.m. rally a few minutes early by making big promises.
Next year will be the single greatest economic year in the history of our country and probably in the history of your state if your governor ever opens up. But hopefully you're going to have Dan Forest. You're not going to have to worry about it.
Speaking for about 75 minutes to easily several thousand people, the president also addressed a recent report in The Atlantic claiming he ridiculed fallen and injured members of the military.
They make it up. They make stuff. It's called disinformation. They give a phony deal out. They did it 2 days ago with the military. There's nobody loves the military more than me.
The president said his opponent, Joe Biden, is nicer but not as smart as his 2016 adversary, Hillary Clinton, and that Biden is, quote, heading south rapidly.
On November 3rd, Americans will decide whether we will quickly return to record prosperity or whether we allow the same left-wing extremists that have no idea what they're doing to burn down buildings or take control of government, set fire to a whole country.
The president claimed his COVID-19 policies saved millions of lives. He falsely stated people can't go to church anymore and offered this take on protesters.
If you're willing to riot and stand on top of each other's face and do whatever the hell you want to do, you're allowed to do that because you're considered a peaceful protester. So we decided to call all our rallies peaceful protests. Okay?
And while he did not urge North Carolinians to vote by absentee ballot and then again at the polls, he did tell people to make sure their vote is counted. And he also cast doubt on the voting process.
Got to be careful with those ballots. Watch those ballots. I don't like it. You know, you have a Democrat governor, you have all these Democrats watching that stuff. I don't like it. I look at these crowds, and if they're going to cheat, crowds are meaningless. Really, if they're going to cheat, these big, beautiful crowds, you could have 15,000, you could have 50,000. These crowds are meaningless. Watch it. Be poll watchers when you go there. Watch all the thieving and stealing and robbing they do.
And if you'd like to watch the president's full speech, again, it was about 75 minutes long. You can see it on the WXII 12 News Facebook page.
Well, just minutes after President Trump ended his speech tonight, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden tweeted, quote, Donald Trump is incapable of providing the leadership this moment requires. Biden plans to campaign in Warren, Michigan tomorrow.
Senator Thom Tillis tweeted this after the rally, quote, thank you, Donald Trump, for visiting North Carolina again tonight. Together, we will defeat the Biden-Cunningham tax hiking agenda and continue getting North Carolinians back to work.
Signs of support for President Trump were in the air, on the ground, and on the minds of people who waited hours for a chance to hear him speak. Lines began forming hours before the president's arrival in Winston-Salem. 17-year-old Steele Langford has heard President Trump speak 4 times. With the birthday coming up, he says he's going to cast his first vote in a presidential election for the president come November.
It's not every day that you get to see the president of the United States, and it's a huge honor and big deal.
One man we spoke with came all the way from Houston, Texas to see the president. He said he wanted to hear him talk about the development of a COVID-19 vaccine, public safety, and the economy.
Also drew some protesters. A group gathered at Fairview Park in the city of Winston-Salem prior to the president's evening rally. The park is between Highway 52 and North Cleveland Avenue, which is about 2 miles from Smith Reynolds Airport. The group Building Winston-Salem, which was behind the protest, said they're a network of more than 15 different activist organizations who all signed a letter and sent it to local leaders. The groups say the president's rallies reinforce hatred and bigotry and that officials have picked him over the greater Winston-Salem community.
We are people helping our neighbors in Winston-Salem, in Forsyth County. We are citizens that care about each other, and that is it.
Now, Joe Biden has not campaigned in North Carolina since becoming the official Democratic presidential nominee. His supporters, including State Rep Derwin Montgomery of Forsyth County, are concerned about tonight's large gathering. Montgomery says Biden has made it very clear there is a wrong way and a right way to campaign, and Montgomery believes what we saw tonight is the wrong way.
Particularly the fact that it's an in-person rally event goes back to the fact that there's a sense of recklessness, I think, on the part of the presidential campaign. Every attendee is going to have to take on the responsibility health-wise if something happens there. In our community, we have done a decent job of maintaining and helping to level out existing cases, and I fear that having such a large gathering as we're having today here, that has potential to adversely impact us when it comes to our COVID numbers.
Now, looking at the state as a whole, there have been nearly 180,000 confirmed cases since our very first one in early March. The vast majority of these folks have since recovered. It'll be at least another few weeks before we learn what impact, if any, this rally could have on our state's numbers. And it is worth noting we just went to phase 2.5 a few days ago, and we're also fresh off the Labor Day weekend.